Jingle little stars. Tonight, Christmas lights flicker, snow whispers secrets, and Crackup Factory opens a door most never knew existed. Bring your cocoa close. This tale is merry, mysterious, and a little bit spooky. Today's magical Christmas story is the Christmas door that shouldn't have opened. Everyone in Frost Hollow Town absolutely loved Christmas. The trees, the cookies, the dazzling lights, but there was always one street that remained dark and undecorated. Evernight Lane. The children would whisper about it, their voices low. Never knock on the old red door, because it knocks back. But there was one girl, Nina, who was curious and brave. She didn't believe in town legends. She was the kind of girl who always wanted to see magic for herself, to touch it and know it was real. On Christmas Eve, while soft snowflakes fell like tiny white feathers, Nina found herself wandering alone. Her parents were working late, her house was dark, and a quiet loneliness was starting to gnaw at her heart. A path led her right past Evernight Lane. There it was. The red door. It was faded, cracked, and covered in a thin layer of ice. As she watched, it gave a long, slow creak, and a whisper seemed to curl from the wood itself. "Come in." It wasn't a voice, not really. It was more like a feeling, a pull from the door itself. Nina's heart began to beat faster, a drum against her ribs. She took a deep breath, reached out, and pushed the door. Snap! In an instant, the street vanished. The door slammed shut behind her with a deafening thud. She was standing inside a vast, shadowy hall. Ornaments, like strange, glassy bubbles, floated in midair. Stockings hung by a cold fireplace, twitching as if alive. Candy canes hung from the banisters, but they were bent like sharp claws. A Christmas tree towered to the ceiling, but its ornaments were not glass or tinsel. They were eyes, hundreds of them, all watching her. A figure began to descend the grand staircase. It was a tall old man with long white hair and a dark coat stitched with broken, silent bells. "Welcome, Nina," he smiled, but his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. Someone finally opened the Christmas door. "How do you know my name?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Because," he said, his voice a low rumble, "you are what this place was waiting for." He led her towards the giant, watching tree. "A very long time ago," he explained, "I tried to steal the magic of Christmas. For my greed, I was cursed to live in this house, forever trapped, until a child brave enough to enter could finally free me." Nina swallowed hard. The air was cold and heavy. What do I have to do?" "Give me your heart." A sighed gently. His words were soft, but the watching ornaments seemed to hiss. The bells on his coat rattled faintly. "Not to keep," he added quickly, "but to remind me what kindness feels like." The air around them seemed to fold, and in that moment, Nina saw it. He wasn't evil. He was forgotten. The loneliness had twisted the Christmas magic in this house, turning it sour and scary. The house hadn't trapped her, it had begged her to come inside, to see him, the lonely man lost within. Nina took a breath, stepped forward, and took his cold hand in her warm one. Instantly, the house transformed. The giant tree burst into a brilliant, warm light. The broken bells on the old man's coat chimed in. Perfect, joyful harmony. The entire hall filled with warmth and the wonderful sense of gingerbread, pine, and cinnamon. The curse shattered like glass. The dark, spooky house turned into a festive, beautiful home, full of music and light. The old man's eyes, once so cold, softened with gratitude. "Thank you, Nina," he said, his voice now full of warmth. "No one ever stayed long enough to hear my story." He walked to the door, which now glowed and was covered in beautiful ribbons. He stepped through it, out into the normal world, and vanished into the falling snow. Nina walked home to find her own house, now lit up, her parents waiting with steaming cups of hot cocoa. That night, she understood something important. Some doors open not to trap you, but to free someone else. Every Christmas after that, Evernight Lane was full of lights, just like the rest of Frost Hollow. And on every red door in town, a small sign was hung. It read, "Sometimes the scariest places are just lonely hearts waiting to be seen." The moral of our story is that Christmas isn't just about receiving gifts. It's about noticing those who are unseen, listening to those who are unheard, and bringing light and kindness to forgotten hearts. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to spread a little magic of your own this holiday season. Follow for more stories.